Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comic Thursdays. Today is Thursday, obviously, for me. If you're not watching this on a Thursday, then it's not Thursday. But today I went to the local comic book store near me, and I picked up some comic books, and it made me think I want to do something on the channel that involves comic books, but I didn't really want to showcase new comics every week because I don't get comics every week. I usually get comics every 2 weeks or maybe once a month. I don't go to the comic book store very often. So I was thinking along the lines, what can I do that I can bring people comic book content every week and make it interesting for everyone. So I came up with the idea of reviewing certain comics that I have, and today I want to review for the next few Comic Thursdays. I'm going to be reviewing a whole entire series that is still ongoing. But I want to review it because I talked recently in an episode I did a few days ago about wanting to do a Walking Dead video every Monday once the new season starts, and kind of go over what happened in the episode and what I think is going to happen in the next episode, that sort of thing. And I really want to talk about the comic books because I feel like the comic books aren't getting enough attention, at least where I'm living. Everyone loves the show. They're like, I watch the show all the time. It's really cool, but they don't do anything other Walking Dead other than watch the show. They don't read the comic books. They don't play the video games. And I'm just like, you gotta read the comics. I don't care if you don't play the video games. I know nobody really plays, older people, they don't play video games that often, but you gotta read these comics. Everybody fucking reads, so let's read the comics, people. So instead of you reading the comics, go ahead and watch this video. It's going to be all spoilers for all the comics up to issues 127, which I picked up 127 today, and it was really good. I read it first thing when I got home. I always read Walking Dead right when I get home. Walking Dead is the greatest comic book that is out right now. I can literally say that is my favorite comic book. Then it's Batman and Spider-Man. I read usually in that order. I read Walking Dead, Batman, Spider-Man. So to start off our review, I'm going to be doing the first two volumes. These are collected issues. I think they're the first 6, and each of these volumes have 6. So this is volume 1, Days Gone By. That is the cover art right there. And some of you are probably, why is he wearing that stupid headset? The video microphone thing on this camera sucks. It's horrible. I don't like it. So I'm doing it with my headset that I use for when I do video games. That was Lily running by, coughing. Alright, so if you've watched the show, some of this is going to be familiar, but I'm gonna kind of go over some of the stuff. It starts off like in the show. Rick and Shane go out on a call. They got some bad guys, and Rick gets shot. He gets put in a coma, and he wakes up, and the zombie apocalypse has happened. And he's like, holy crap, what is going on? It's the end of the world. It's really kind of powerful stuff, because, let's see, when he first wakes up, there's not a whole lot of dialogue. There's a little bit, he talks a little bit, but it's him. It's all by himself. He's seeing all these decaying corpses walking around, and it scares the bejesus out of him. Who wouldn't have been scared? It's creepy. Look at this panel in particular. Look at that. Can you see that pretty good? Look at that. This one right here. That would be creepy. It's just a cafeteria full of dead people. Not cool. Or cool for us, but not cool to be in that sort of situation. Not at all. So he kind of goes along, and he gets whacked in the head, like what happens to him in the show. It's a little kid. It's Morgan and his son, and they watch over him and whatnot. It's all good. And he wakes up, and they're sorry, we thought you were dead. No, it's cool. It's cool. And he brings them to the police station, and he's like, here's some guns for you. You can take these. Here's the walkie-talkie. He does give him the walkie-talkie and all that. Or I think he actually gives him. I think yeah, he gives him a police cruiser. Yeah, he gives him the police cruiser. That's pretty much what he does. He's like, here, take a police cruiser, and it has the walkie-talkie in it. So he's going along in this police cruiser, and it dies like in the show. Runs out of gas, whatever. He goes to a house, and it's a farm, and he grabs a horse, takes the horse, and he rides it into Atlanta. He gets to Atlanta, sees it's filled with dead, just zombies walking everywhere, craziness. And then here's another difference. I don't think I've talked about many of the differences yet, but here's a difference so far. When he gets to Atlanta and the horses stop him, or when the zombies stop him on the horse and eat his horse, he doesn't climb into the tank. Right away, he's trying to kill these zombies. He's shooting at them. He's got an axe. He's whacking them and whatnot. And then he runs into Glenn. Glenn is a fan favorite of the show. A lot of people like Glenn. Understandable. He's a very likable character. More in the show than in the comics. They don't really give him much of a story in the comic books. They give him more of a story in the show. He's a lot more likable in the show. But he runs into Glenn and he takes him away. He's like, come with me. We can get to the rooftops. They get out of Atlanta and then they're kind of conversing. And he's like, oh, I've got a group that's a little ways outside of Atlanta, just like in the show. Okay. So he gets to the camp with Glenn, and he finds out he sees, just like in the show, that Lori and Carl are there, and Shane was the one that helped him get out. Okay, and everyone's all happy to be there and see Rick, and it's a very heartwarming moment. And he gets introduced to all the different people around the camp, and he finally meets. Where's it at? I know it's here. I seen it. Where'd it go? I don't know where he meets. Here, right here. There, right there. He meets Dale, the old guy who died in season 2. He meets him, and he's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" He has to go get something from his mobile home, his trailer, and right away, here's another difference. Rick doesn't really find out until season 2 that Lori and Shane were together. In these few panels right here, you can see there's Dale right there. Dale's right there. He tells Rick that he's seen some stuff and he thinks that Lori and Shane are together, thinking that he had died. And he's like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna do nothing. Nothing's gonna be bad. He's wrong. He's wrong. Things go bad. So yeah, they're like, okay, whatever. He's kind of adjusting to the camp, and they're like, oh, help's gonna be coming soon, and whatnot. Okay, all right, help's coming soon. No help yet. Well, there's a zombie. They find a zombie eating a deer. They take care of the zombie. They kind of converse, and it's really just pretty much kind of going over like what happened. Like, what did Shane and Lori do? When did Rick wake up? What did he do when he woke up? And then they kind of get into one day they wake up and they're like, hey, we need more weapons if we're gonna defend ourselves. And so they go back into Atlanta. I think it's just Rick and Glenn again, just the two of them. They go back into Atlanta and they go to a gun store and they grab more ammunition and weapons and things like that. And when they're trying to get away, they get kind of surrounded by zombies and they have to clear their way out. Suspenseful stuff, yes. So while he's away, Shane and Lori are talking, and Lori's worried about Rick, and Shane tries to comfort her, and Lori doesn't want Shane to comfort her. She feels like she does, like you've seen in the show. She's like, no, what we did was wrong, you said my husband was dead, and all this, and So there's still that conflict between the two of them. And then when they get back with all the guns and the ammunition, in season 2, you saw they were training the other camp members to use weapons, and they do that in this first volume. Instead of at the farm, they do it at the camp. And Carl, of course, is getting trained how to use a gun. And then the camp gets attacked, like in the episode when Rick and Daryl and Glenn, they come back from looking for Merle. They come back and the camp's overrun by zombies. They get attacked and they fend themselves off. They, of course, have losses. They lose some of the characters like Andrea's sister and things like that. That all happens. And there's another thing I'm completely forgetting to tell everyone. Daryl and Merle are not in the comic books at all. They're not in it. That might turn some people off to it. They really like those two characters, are mainly Daryl, and that's it. So they fend off the camp. And now it's the next day, and Rick is saying we need to leave, where Shane is saying we need to stay here and we need to wait for help. And it's getting to the point where they can't wait for help. And so this ensues in a fist fight, and then the fist fight gets broken up by the group between Rick and Shane. Shane goes off into the woods and tries to cool off, but Rick follows him. He wants to just talk to him, but things just keep escalating. They're yelling at each other, not knowing that Carl has followed them into the woods. And when Shane starts getting really angry and really violent towards Rick, Carl takes his gun and shoots shoots Shane in the head, or not in the head, obviously. So yeah, that is all of the first volume. And it says right here, Carl is very sad that he had to shoot and kill Shane. He shoots him in the neck. And it says, it's not the same as killing the dead ones, Daddy. And then the next page, it says, it never should be, son, it never should be. And that is the page panel for it right there. So that's volume 1, collected of 6 issues. Let's move on to volume 2. This is falling off my head. Sorry. Okay, so volume 2, Miles Behind Us. That is the art. It's kind of snowy. And this is something that's kind of interesting. They've never done this in the show yet. It's always been like kind of like summertime, fall kind of weather in the show, but in the comic books they've shown winter. And it's interesting. The way this first opens up is something that we kind of saw. Was it season 1? I think it was season 1, maybe season 2. Might have even been 3. I think it might have been 3 that we saw this. But it goes to the night when Shane and Lori first hook up and they make sex. It doesn't show it, but it's actually, they show a little bit more in the show than they actually do in the comic book. It's kind of funny. But the reason they show it is because there is Shane's funeral right there, and Lori and Rick and Carl. It's kind of a powerful image, kind of, if you think about it. I mean, Lori was kind of cheating on Rick, and there she is standing in front of the grave of the guy who she was cheating on him with. And the first thing that you'll notice if you do ever read these, after volume 1, the inking and stuff gets a lot darker. This one, it's really light, which some people might like that a little bit more, but that's because they got a different drawer and inker. So here is another change. Like, they're in the RV, they're on the road. It's kind of the in-between season 1 and season 2. And when they're in the RV and on the road, they run into Tyrese, who recently was just added to the show in season 3. So in volume 2, Tyrese is already a part of the gang, and and they haven't even been to Herschel's farm yet. So we get to meet Tyrese pretty early. We meet his his daughter and her boyfriend. And instead of Tyrese and his sister, it's his daughter. So they're going along. They're trying to look for safety. Looking for safety. And this is where Lori tells Rick that she's pregnant. And he kind of tells her everything's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We'll manage. Oh, this part right here. This is pretty cool. They kind of did this in season 2, where in season 2 when they found this area, it was only Shane and Andrea. They go to this kind of like they're looking for Sophia, I think is what it was, and they go to the suburb development, and there's all these zombies there. Well, in the comic books, everybody went there, and they stayed in the houses at night, and they find all these zombies and whatnot. They clear out the house, one house. They clear out one house, and everyone's going to bed. And Rick goes around, or no, it's another member of the group. It's she died. I don't remember her name. I could look it up, but you find Andrea. She finds Andrea with Dale, the old guy, and they have a relationship for a very long time. It lasts until Dale eventually dies in the comics. So that's a little something interesting for you. Just think about that. Young girl with old guy making sex. Whatever. I'm done. So they wake up the next morning, and then they have to hurry up and get the heck out because dead are everywhere. They're coming at them, and they lose a few more people. It's craziness. They have to run away. So they all get back into the RV. They take off. And oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's been a while since I've read these. But Carl gets shot by Otis, like what happened in the show. And he has to rush him to Herschel, and this is where they meet Herschel. But Rick's reaction to Carl getting shot is a lot more violent. He points his gun at Otis, and he says, "I'll fucking kill you," is what this panel right here says. There is Rick pointing a gun at Otis, and Tyrese in the background trying to get Rick off of him. So he got pretty mad, but he tells him go to this farm. They find Herschel, and Herschel eventually gets him back to health. He's all healed up. So a lot of it is the same, but a few differences. There's a few characters who show up earlier than they did in the show. Sophia's still alive. In season 2, Sophia died. She's still alive. And then they find out about the zombies in the barn. And I don't think they don't kill the zombies in the barn. So what they end up doing, they leave. They leave the farm because of the zombies. They don't feel safe. And Glenn and Maggie have their relationship, and Glenn stays with them. And then they leave, and Herschel and Glenn and Maggie and all of Herschel's people, they stay. Oh, no, wait, they do. They do open up the barn. My bad. And that's when Herschel kicks them off the farm. But Glenn's the only one that stays. Yep. That's pretty much it for this one. They leave. Let me quickly flip through it. I apologize. Yeah. they leave, and right here, like the end of season 2, they pan up and there is the prison. And that was the end of it. It's a perfect home. There's Rick right there. So that was Volume 1, Volume 2 of The Walking Dead. They're very similar to the show, but the show has definitely changed quite a few different things from the pages of the comics to the live action of the shows. So, but as we get further into it, I'll do next Thursday another 2 volumes. We'll see really more of the differences and how the two are similar, but they're not exactly the same. Especially with one of my favorite characters, the Governor. The Governor is very different compared to his comic book adaptation to his show adaptation. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'm really excited to go over of those sorts. These first 2 issues, I was really looking at them a lot because I don't remember a whole lot from these. Before Thursday, I'll definitely flip over the other volumes 3 and 4, so that way I'm not looking at them a whole lot. I wanted to do this episode today, and so I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip through these as I kind of go through and review them. So I'll make sure by next Thursday I'll at least flip through the issues, maybe even read them, the volume 3 and 4. So now you don't have to read these. I am talking about them for you. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that way next Thursday you'll see exactly when I put that video up. And check out some of the other content on my channel. I got a lot of different video game stuff that I've been doing. I've been playing some Dark Souls and some Resident Evil. I posted some Amnesia today and some gameplay of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 because I think Ghost really frickin' sucks. But it is what it is. I'll see you guys all next Thursday or on another video that I do sometime this week.